there. Sorry from 17 once again. And I know what you're thinking. Didn't you kill this guy in the last video? And I did. But I died to the next person, and the checkpoint put me back at the barn. So when I came back, I could stealth kill him. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to keep in both parts of the footage so I could show you what happened the first time, show you the discrepancy with the checkpoint, and then show you a better way of doing it. That is a much better way of doing it. This is my Evil Within Akumu difficulty video walkthrough. I will not be upgrading throughout the duration of the game, if all goes well, and at this moment in time I haven't even used any keys. So the strategies in these videos hopefully should be able to get people through the game without any single added thing. The only thing I have is what the game gives me and my own, faculties, and hopefully I can get you through it. But this is chapter 3, part 2, and it's about to get a little bit more interesting. So in the last video I was saying how people are insulting the visuals on this game. I understand it in some ways, but I don't for the most. If you're going to insult anything, insult the frame rate. The frame rate's what should have been more solid, but it is kind of understandable on these old consoles. On the new ones, it isn't. And you see that? That is how alert these enemies are, just for anybody who hasn't realised that this is legit. There we go, bottle to the face, stab the bitch. If you do not crouch, you will not get the prompt and she'll grab you. I've learnt that the hard way. It's another one of those baffling moments that this game has. Why do we have to be crouched to do a counter-attack? I understand it on a stealth kill, but that's not a stealth kill. I just glassed a bitch. How is that even remotely stealthy? That right there is me dying. If you want to see the video of me dying, or of what killed me, it's up at this moment in time as a fail video. It's called Epic Boomer Turn. That's what happened then. That is where it revived me. Do you see that? Why the hell did it revive me here? And for some reason, that's what it keeps doing. You might be thinking, well, Chris, normally you blend this kind of footage together so we can't notice these kind of moments. And that is very true. But as far as this game's concerned, it actually helped me here because I did a different strategy. What I did is I came down into the barn. You notice how it repopulated the axe for me? Picked up the axe, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this motherfucker to get closer, and I'm going to run and hatchet him in the face. Then once that's done, we're going to move into that house I just looked at. When we move into that house and we kill a few people, we're going to get another checkpoint. Then after that, I have to clear out everyone in the village and then kill the sadist. Once that's done, level's done, next mission. Next mission's nowhere near as bad as this one. In fact, 4 and 5 are pretty simple. The only hard part about 5 is the stupid Joseph section. And it's only stupid because the fucking AI is worthless and he dies. But here he is. There's his little boomer turn. And good night. Don't burn him. You don't need to. You're going to see a couple of panic burns through this game because I'm just, die motherfucker kind of mentality. But you don't need to. And then this room. In this room, it's kind of strange. This room has this habit of enemies disappearing and I don't know why. There's a window smashing, so someone's angry. But in this first area, I think there's 2 guys. One of them's going to go upstairs. Other one's going to stay downstairs, and that's when we're going to get him. So do you see the guy just through the window on my right going up the stairs? We don't have to worry about him coming down for quite some time, so we can focus on the guy on the left. Does his little left and right, and he's going to turn around. Wait for it. Wait for it. And he turns. Now we can go for him. Make sure you're on his right. You see how I kind of move to his right when I'm coming behind him? There we go. Guy's dead. Good night. I don't understand why we can't use that knife out of that cutscene. I think the knife on Resident Evil 4 is one of the most enjoyable parts of it. And even then, I think the knife should be better. I think the knife should be so much better than it is on that game. And even as it stands, it's really good. A knife is... If you're in range to use a knife, in the classic Leon assassination mentality, you should be rewarded for it because it should work. That's the whole point of a knife. It's up close and personal. It's risk versus reward. Right now, I'm not too sure about the movements of the enemies up here, so I'm a little paranoid to go up the stairs. But I know there's a guy on a balcony, and there's the guy who just walked up. There's also this nurse who stands by the window and she doesn't move. The problem I had here is the guy who came upstairs vanishes. I don't know where. And it really, really just baffled me. The obfuscation felt was real. Just Madness. Utter madness. And I'm on these stairs hesitating over a dude who's disappeared. Like, maybe there's a room I didn't check and he just skulked off into it. But as it stands, I go through the 2 rooms upstairs and the only people here is this woman. Maybe it was the woman who went up the stairs, I don't know. And she never turns. She's also dressed as a police officer. I suppose this is as fine a moment as any to explain about the guns. So if I ever make a survival horror game, I guarantee you will not see zombies with fucking guns. It is the worst idea ever. It ruins games. It truly does. Look at RE6, piece of shit. Look at RE5, some of the worst parts of that game. And now this game, for some reason. Chapter 11 is where it gets horrendous. You know, actually, this might be the guy who was downstairs. I think it was. I think he comes up and maybe then he patrols the... In fact, maybe he broke the window, went downstairs because he saw me, or he thought he saw me, and then he was coming back upstairs to get back to his original position. That would make sense, I guess. But the guns, like... Throughout this game, there are enemies that have these shotguns. And they're perfectly fair. They don't tend to shoot you from a distance. If you're moving, they don't tend to hit you unless you're very unlucky. And they're rare. They're so rare that you don't see them that often. On Chapter 11, it just turns into bullshit land where there's SWAT guys that have them. And then Chapter 12 is worse. Chapter 12, almost every single fucking person either has a crossbow that they can fire so fast it doesn't make sense, or a pistol. And that right there, as you saw, is an interesting transition. Once again, folks, the checkpoint was weird. I ended up dying, clearing out the enemies, and that's where it brought me back. So I wanted to keep it just to show you where it did it. I know it's a little disjointing, but if you're here on Akumu mode, you already know the layout of this village, you already know what you need to do, and you already know it's pretty tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this house and grab a bottle. I kicked the door open hoping it would alert some people to come to me so I could divide and conquer them, because what you're watching now is the preamble to killing the sadist. This is me making sure everything is dead before we move on to killing the big guy. But the guns, I've got this hilarious clip that I'm really tempted to share, but at the same time I don't want to flood people's inboxes with fail videos because there's just too many and they're all hilarious, and as much as I'd like to put them all together, if I were to put all the videos together and put that music on them, on each of them, it'll probably end up getting flagged, because any music that's longer than a certain period of time, it gets copyright ID'd, and there's not a lot you can do to it unless you get, you know, unlicensed music, because it used to work that music within games was fair use, and for the most you can get away with a lot of it, but every so often it just catches you out, and it's always on the longer ones, so it's just not worth the risk. I also do it so it's a bit more approachable, if you're wondering why I do the punchy ones. You know, I'm sure there's people that think I just do it to try and whore views, but it's the same as the Dark Souls ones. When somebody sees a 30-second video, you kind of have to watch it, because the back of your mind, you're like, why is it 30 seconds long, and 30 seconds is nothing, it's not going to impact on my day. Not a lot of people have time to sit down and watch a 25-minute video. If you're the type of person sitting down who can watch 25-minute videos, you're really fortunate, because not everybody can, and you need to be aware of this. And I kind of think I've earned the tenure on my channel to have shorter videos every so often, to just liven it up, just because of how long some of the projects I do are, you know. I've never really scalped on videos, I've never really tried to exploit my viewers. Like, I could make 5-minute videos, every walkthrough would be 100 videos long, and I'd get 10 times the views I do, but to me that would kind of be pointless, because a 5-minute video is more ads than video at that point, so it's not really that fun to watch. And you know, as much as we rely on the ads as YouTubers, they are annoying. You know, you can't deny the annoying nature. Be careful, that's a throw. I believe you can probably melee that. I know you'll definitely be able to shoot it, but as it stands it's very risky, so instead take a glass bitch and let's end him. So where we came from, you see over there, where it's all foggy, that's where the enemy... Oh! I think that was a woman busting through the door. It can be tough to see this game. I have my brightness on a little bit higher than what it recommends, but even then it's still pretty dark. And this is one of those games that when you increase the brightness, it's almost like you change the gamma setting. And when you change gamma settings on games, it makes them look disgusting. So there's no point increasing it too much. My best advice is get used to it, because the game's dark. A lot of it is dark. A lot of it's going to take some getting used to. And so is this. This, what I'm doing now, looks kind of stupid and simple, but there's actually a lot more technique to it than you'd think. Because this bottle throw is finicky. And if you make a mistake, you get grabbed. Like, I don't know why I did that. That was kind of dumb. Why did I do that? That was really dumb. Don't do that. I'm coming in here because there's lots of bottles, if you're wondering. There's me forgetting about my shitty stamina. Which I need to tell you, watch my stamina bar, guys, when I do a run. Because I generally don't run too much. I generally tap it. Do a little burst of speed when I need to get out of something. But the full bar, when it gets down to the last third of the bar, you're already being penalised. It's so unfair. It baffles me how Resident Evil 4 can have a sprint that's not very fast, but it's constant, and this game can have a sprint that's not very fast and isn't constant. Like, how does this work? So, that guy's got a gun. You're going to see him. You'll notice he kind of points it in a really weird way. It's if you gave a gun to somebody who's never seen anyone use a gun, they would hold it like this guy. He holds it very effeminately, which is not to say that women can't shoot guns, it's just to say that he looks kind of flimsy. It's like he's got a magic wand. So I ran away from him to try and leash him so that I can divide and conquer. It's the smartest way to do everything. Sound on this game is incredibly important, but it's also incredibly misleading. For some reason, the sound design is in such a way that things make much more noise than they should, and they give the impression that they're much closer than they are. So I'm trying to get close here. Whenever they stop, like that right there, how he didn't... Ah, there you go. How he didn't see me when he stopped, I'll never know, but I'm not going to waste any opportunities with this enemy because he's too strong. Which leads me to the worst part about the match technique. So when you go to drop a match, you know how I mentioned you don't get iframes? Well, the enemies have an attack where they can swing from the ground, and because the detection on the match is so finicky, if you're stood over them when they swing, you will die. Every time. And it's one of those things that is absolute utter luck. You can't control it. The detection is RNG, the attack is RNG, and if you're close enough to be hit, is also RNG. It's... In the heat of battle, it happens, and you're going to wish the game worked differently. You're going to wish it gave you iframes through the full thing, or at least the match detection was better. But the truth is, folks, it isn't. And you have to get used to it, because if you don't, you're going to die. And it's the same with a lot of it. You know, every single flaw in the systems and the mechanics of this game is going to be noticeable on this kind of run. Because you are doing something that requires the highest level of technical ability with the game. Like, Shinji Mikami's even stated for Akumu mode, people are going to want to brag about it. Because not only will it take a massive mental toll and a mental toughness, but it'll take technical ability. Because he believes that survival horror requires both. And I don't know what he means by the mental part of it. I think he must mean he knows some of the checkpoints are horrendous and he still left them that way so that it'd fuck us in the head. And if so, Shinji, I want to slap your ass. But at the same time, it's definitely going to make it feel worth it in the end. And some people believe that a lack of checkpoints makes things feel more satisfying. I don't. I really don't. I think you can have satisfying gameplay and good checkpoints. But this is the sadist. I unleash him with a grenade, and then I shoot him with flash bolts, and then use the knife to stab him. If you're going for the achievement for killing him with the knife, I believe this is the way to do it. Never, ever blind him unless he's running at you with the saw. If you do it as he stands up, he doesn't get affected by it, and you'll lose your head. I'm going to get screwed here by the bolt changing itself, or by me changing it by accident. Right there, do you see how it defaulted to the explosive bolt? I don't want to do it with the explosive bolt. I want to blind this guy, but it's already done it. So when I go back to it and I start aiming, I don't realise what's happening. Oh, maybe it's a little later. So another stab. Something worth noting. I don't know the best way to kill this dude. I went to do a double execution then. So there's the flash. There's another knife. He takes a fucking beating, this guy. Can I make another one? I can. So this is it. Watch. I don't realise I'm on the wrong bolt, and this kills him. So I lose out on my achievement, which is kind of annoying, but I'll get that later. So I don't know if resource-wise it's probably more efficient to shoot him with explosive bolts. I have suspicions that that's the best way, because to me that's one of the most powerful attacks I have. However, explosive bolts cost, I believe, 3 points, is it? No, I think they might cost 2. 2 or 3. I know that flash takes 2. Explosive, it might be 3. I'm sorry guys, I should know this. You know, I've been so balls deep in this game, it's information I should have. Which further expresses why I would love a walkthrough for this. Like statistical stuff, I think I'm going to go into the upgrade area just to see what all my weapons do. Because I want to know what the damage values the grenades have. I want to know what the damage values the crits have, and I want to see what each of my guns do, because having an understanding of how much your weapons do gives you an appreciation of how much life the enemies have, and I could really do with that, because I just don't know the best math to win. Fact. And, you know, if the explosive crossbow bolts do, for instance, 50 damage, and the keeper has 100 life, then it would make sense that 2 of them kill him. But if the magnum does 100 damage, there's no point wasting 2 bolts. I might as well just use 1 magnum shot. I can tell you right now, the keeper will not go down in 1 magnum shot, and those numbers are not even remotely true. But hopefully, after today, well, I'm about to go and spend the evening with my woman, who is amazing and awesome, and she keeps me sane while I do these projects. While we're doing some downtime and we're just chilling together, I'm probably going to try and do some research to see if I can find some of this information out. But the biggest problem with making a walkthrough the week the game is out is, regardless of how good you are and how attentive you are, you're still going to be ignorant of systems that will become aware a month down the line, 2 months down the line, a year down the line. So the strategies you're going to see here are all week 1 strategies, and who knows, in a month there may be so many easy ways to do things that took me hours. I don't even know. Which is horrendous English, and I hate saying you know so much, but sometimes it's like actually. As soon as you say it, you can't help but say it. It's infectious. But thank you very much for watching. I hope the guide is helping, and if not, a little bit interesting to those who have no idea what's happening. But as always, you take care now.